Hey, welcome back. We have a knife here. We actually have a lot of knives to get through tonight, and I am on the mend coming off of being sick, so let's see how far we can get and how fast we can get there. That is the DEM code 8020.5. Trying to get through this packaging. There we go. And I'm just trying to do this without exposing stuff, and I think I've successfully done it. All right, let's see what we got here. Look at that funny little box. This is funny. Whoever saw a knife come in a box like this? It looks like it's taped up. I'm gonna have to get into that. There we go. All right, if you know that symbol, you know that we're getting into a pretty cool knife here. So this is one of the original, like from back in 2017. This is a GB Sham, a Gareth Shamwari. This is a pretty old one. It's got a nice little snail right here. It's actually a pretty nice little finish on it. It's kind of Chris Reeve-like. Yeah, kind of a cool little pivot on it. But I was able to trade for it and not go too crazy. So for a little user, we'll see how it goes. Just want to get a sense. It looks pretty clean though overall. Oof, that was some nice action too. Oh man, that's pretty sweet. You know, I just got like a brand new one that's running on washers, and I just gotta say I'm a bearings guy. This one is running on bearings. This is definitely not nearly as fancy or cool as the one that I recently got, but this one is quite nice. The seller was like, dude, you're gonna love the action on this, and I have to agree. Now let's see if it's quite as, yeah, it's just as easy to deploy as the other two. So really neat knives. In terms of front flippers, there's really just nothing quite like them. You can see how quickly I'm adapting to it because it's just so intuitive and precision. Now let's see how the centering is. The last one I got, this guy freaking didn't tighten the pivot hardware, and it came literally finger tight, not even finger tight, like just straight up loose. Not centered. Just one of those kind of careless sellers. Not a big fan of the guy, frankly. I don't think that he was that he did it maliciously, but I think that he didn't pay attention. And then when I confronted him about it, he was not willing to help me out at all. Which, you know, it's like if someone confronts you about it, and I didn't like tell him what he had to do. I just said, "What do you think is fair?" I won't get into all the details, but you know, when you're buying and selling knives, it's like put the relationship first and try and take care of each other. And this guy definitely accused me of like trying to do a YouTube review on the knife and send it back. It was garbage. So you never know what you might get stuck with in terms of a person you're working with on the secondary market, man. But this seller was super cool. Made the deal happen. It's a nice little 3-inch. It's tiny. I'll tell you, this is definitely not for everyone. If you got big hands, you probably won't like this knife. See how the edge is on it, man. The finish is beautiful too. It's this nice hand rubbed on it. The blade is looking like immaculate. It's interesting. It looks like it's been carried quite a bit. The edge isn't perfect, but it's pretty darn good. But man, that blade doesn't look like it's been passed through much. If it did much work since 2017, I think this would be estimated like a 2017 year. It certainly isn't showing it. It's pretty freaking clean. Maybe just a touch up at the front. I like this. This is exciting. Now I don't have to feel bad about selling my Spiro Sham that I got because I don't like the fact of where it came from. Now let's see if this thing has good lockup. Not great. Let's see if we can tighten that up a tad. Give it a little try, give it a little go. Ooh, that thing looks like maybe a T10. I think it's a T10. Let's give it a quick little feel here. No, was that a T8? T8. All right, that was also a little bit loose there. Now, this thing's no longer drop shot. So I think this is one of those knives where you kind of have to get it just right and probably put some Loctite in there because the other one came that way too, which is interesting. The actions almost feels better now though. Like it's not as drop shut, but it feels a little more solid. So I probably find the sweet spot on this thing. Maybe it's just a touch less than that, and then put a drop of Loctite on there and call it good. But I'm noticing this is kind of a thing with these knives, is you got to get this kind of just right. Not overdo it, not underdo it. Okay. I think that's it right there. I think it's in the sweet spot. No blade play. Perfectly centered now. I think it was a little off before, keep me honest. It feels really nice now. I like these. I'd really like to get a 3-inch, 3.3 inch or a 3.5 inch. I think that'd be really sweet. But I just generally like these knives. They're not like like a lot of people are like, dude, they're gonna ruin the Rosie for you. Yeah, I mean, it's smooth. You know, my Rockstead is smooth too, but it didn't ruin the Rosie for me, I'll tell you that. What else is smooth and drop shut? I mean, I've gotten Grimsmos and all sorts of knives in hand that didn't ruin anything for me. This is, you know, that's a sweet knife. It's just the feel in hand and everything is much better, frankly, than this little guy. Now this is lighter. It is a little smoother. I'll give it that. It is sweet. It is definitely sweet. There is something sweet about it. But it's not ruining anything for me, I'll tell you that. It's a definite nice little EDC though. If you think about what it is and the size and everything and the action, yeah, I'm glad to have it. Yeah, I kind of like the little vintage one here, especially now that it's kind of tightened up there. So I'll probably throw a little Loctite in that. Get to know it a little better. Love that it's a user too. It's cool that you can actually like carry this because it's not so perfect. It looks like it's a nice little hollow grind on there, by the way. Nice little hollow grind. It's pretty. And I guess these original ones were all made by Gareth Bull. Now I think his brother makes some of them and stuff. So it's kind of cool knowing this is the OG, the GOAT himself. It's a sweet little knife. I like it. Thanks to the seller for making that one happen. I'm gonna have to just throw a big middle finger up to the guy that didn't want to help me out when I confronted him. Just got a little emotional and started pointing fingers instead of trying to make things work with me. That's not appreciated, man. So, you know, sometimes I notice when people, and I don't think this guy did it maliciously. I think he just didn't notice the condition of this knife that I had confronted him on. And then when I told him, I was like, hey, I don't think you did anything wrong. I just think this is what it is. And maybe he didn't notice. And he's like, starts attacking me with like, oh, you just got this knife for the video. And I'm just like, come on, man. If you look at my collection, I sent him pictures of my collection. I'm like, does this collection look like someone that just did the knife for the video? Like, am I just doing the knife and sending it back? Is that how I have, you know, 30 plus Demcos sitting right next to me here? Is that how I have, you know, 10 plus Roosevelts? I don't think that that's how that works, buddy. So, like I said, try and think about when you go into a situation like that to put the relationship first. I asked him to put the relationship first. I didn't even ask him for anything. If he just said, I don't want to do anything, and here's why I'm not comfortable with it, then I said, okay, that's fine. Instead, he has me send the knife back. Then he watches the video, and then he accuses me of it. And then he tells me to reverse the knife and send it back. So now I'm out an extra 30 bucks. And it's like, look, 30 bucks isn't going to stop me from putting my kids through college or anything. It's not a big deal, but it's the principle and how you do it, and like whether you actually think that you care about the other person. And you know, this guy got the little victim thing going in his head and told himself a story about the situation. And you know, candidly, I'm not going to name names or anything, but I won't do business with that guy again. And if anyone asks me before they do a deal with him, I'm going to say, hey, just make sure and ask these questions, because I don't think he means well, or it means anything malicious by it, but you know, he's not as detail oriented as you might want him to be. So, you know, you get a reputation from this stuff, and he might say the same stuff about me. All that guy's just gonna try and send the knife back, but you know, this guy disclosed perfectly, took really nice pictures of the damages on here and stuff. It's exactly what he, you know, he sent me what I expected. You know, this other knife, the guy said, it's new condition, carried once to twice. It shows up with like, you know, a snail on here. It's got gunk on the blade right here where there's like, you know, where the scales open up here. It's like gunk on there. I was cleaning it for like 15 minutes trying to get it off. The thing's out of center. It's just like, clearly this is not what you described it as. And, you know, for you to accuse me of being the person that did that wrong, come on. That's just being defensive and being emotional. So yeah, maybe I'm doing a little bit of it right now as well. So I apologize for that, but sometimes you got to vent, and hey, ended up happening on this video. But hey, GB Sham, very cool little old knife here, and I'll try and get some of the more modern ones on the channel. You'll see that unboxing if you haven't already of the Spiro Sham, where it has this beautiful, crazy, like hypnotic pivot. That's the one from the video that I was referring to just there. And look, you can even watch the video. I was pretty cool about it. I noticed things. I was like, trying to like wipe it off. I'm like, this can't be here. This is supposed to be a new knife. But I don't like sit there and like call it out on the video. I'm going to go talk to the person privately first, let them do the right thing. And then if they don't, I'm going to call out the situation. I'm still not going to name names. Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I'm just trying to, you know, share the thoughts on what it's like when someone doesn't do right by you, and then kind of double doesn't do right by you. That's even worse. It's one thing to just send the knife in the wrong condition. It's another thing to then kind of do wrong by the person through the situation. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this, even though it ended up being a rant. Please like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.